but today we're going to be discussing the Hisuian Electrode. Hisuian Electrode is a pretty unique Pokemon. It's probably one of the top 5 fastest Pokemon, I must say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for Hisuian Electrode, base stats, they're pretty mid, besides the speed, of course. This Pokemon is going to be more of your like damaging, chip damage, or just, chunking damage off the enemy teams, where you're just going to be volt switching or just leaf storming things, thunderbolt, super effective attacks. We have the Terra Blast Ice, as it was one of Electrode's thing where it would have a hidden power ice, which is actually very cool and just very techy with like going up against like a Salamence or anything that was like 4 times weak to ice. It was just so cool to have. Or I believe not Terrafire, well, hidden power fire. In this case it would be Terrafire, but Terrafire would be also something that unique that you could run for Pokemon like Scizor or Magnezone and whatnot. So for the ability, you can either or, it's completely optional. Aftermath, if this Pokemon is KO'd with a contact move, the move's user loses 1/4 max HP. So that's a pretty cool ability. It's quite useful in certain circumstances, especially if the opposing Pokemon is like half health and you need to knock it out. So it'd be like a Scizor. Like Scizor goes for the bullet punch, you switch in Electrode, it's already like in the yellow area of health. You just Aftermath picks up the knockout. It's quite a pretty fun ability. Soundproof, this Pokemon is immune to sound-based moves unless it used the move. So, Hyper Voice, Boom Burst, you're immune to that stuff. It's quite fun. It could be a nice switch-in Pokemon. Let's say if you have a Excalibur and you're going up against like a Hyper Voice Sylveon, you bring in the Electrode with the Soundproof ability, you're immune. It's not going to do anything. It's a nice little switch-in. Static, 30% chance to make up. 30% chance a Pokemon making contact with this Pokemon will be paralyzed. Some RNG shenanigans if you want to run the static. It's like a free Thunder Wave, sort of, if you end up getting the static, of course. Not always guaranteed. Looking at the moves here, we have Thunderbolt, Volt Switch for that momentum. We have Leaf Storm and Terra Blast Ice with the choice specs. More than welcome to run Life Orb on here as well. Next set is a Modest. We're going to be a little bit more on the offensive with the Choice Scarf. So we're going to be Choice Locked. We have Chloroblast. User loses 50% max HP. It's kind of like that move. I forgot what it was. It's a steel type move that Aegislash got. I think it's like Steel Beam. Yeah, I think it's Steel Beam. I was going to say Steel Cannon, but it's Steel Beam. But yeah, it's a really powerful move. I probably would say Chloroblast is probably going to be like one of the most popular options, mainly because Electrode isn't very super offensively strong, but it's got a little kick to it. We got Discharge. Discharge is there mainly just to, let's say if the Pokemon is problematic and you need to get it paralyzed, like if you're in a 2v1 situation and that Pokemon is going to pick up the knockout on your last Pokemon, and you're just hoping to get a paralysis. You don't want to go for the Thunderbolt, or you don't want to go for, well, I guess in this case it would be Thunderbolt, since Thunderbolt has a 10% chance to paralyze the target, but you need to get that Pokemon paralyzed. You go for the Discharge, and you might get that 30% chance. And that'll save you the game, because now the last Pokemon that you have is going to outspeed their Pokemon, and you're going to pick up the knockout. Of course, depending on the situation and circumstances, of course. Volt Switch, again, for momentum, more than welcome to switch whatever ability you like. Terra type, electric, or if you want to Terra Grass, do even more big damage with the Chloroblast. Moving on, we have a pretty annoying build here. So we're going to invest a little bit more on the bulkier side. We're already a very fast Pokemon. We're going to be outspeeding the majority of the Pokemon, even with this amount of speed. So the idea of this build is just to be very sustained on health and just draining the opposing Pokemon's health. you leech seed in hopes of connecting, you live a hit, you go for protect, you substitute, you're going to be regenerating health from leftovers and leech seed, and even if the damage is neutral, you're going to regen from Giga Drain. So you have all this sustainability, of course, depending on the Pokemon, and like if it was a choice band, like Scizor, U-turn, or something like that. But at that point, you're probably just going to end up outspeeding it anyways. If it's coming in on a switch in, of course, you're going to win the 1v1 if you connect the leech seed on the Scizor, because at that point you're just going to drain from the Pokemon's health, you protect, then you spam substitute, protect, substitute, leech seed is doing all the damage, and then you're just getting health recovery from the leftovers. And then if the Scizor is like pretty much dead or just half health, pick up the knockout with Giga Drain. Be aware that this Pokemon is not going to be really good against other grass type Pokemon or any Pokemon with like Sap Sipper. I was thinking of just getting rid of Giga Drain and swapping it out for like Discharge, just so you can cripple the Pokemon. You could definitely do this, of course. If you cripple the Pokemon with paralysis and they end up staying paralyzed for a turn, it's not going to be very welcoming for them. You're going to be behind a substitute. You could even substitute, then protect, just to be a tanky shield, or just to have double shield, pretty much. Again, the ability is definitely an option to you. If you want to guarantee your... of course, it's got to be a contact move. You can have a 60% chance now. You go for Discharge and you hope they, hit you with like a physical type attack or pretty much contact move, then, you now have a 60% chance of paralyzing. So either or is going to end up getting the Pokemon paralyzed. Soundproof could be really good on this build because we're going to be hiding behind a substitute. So you'll be able to ignore any sound-based moves. But that's pretty much this Electrode. We're just investing more on the tankier side. So yeah, feel free, if you're not happy with the stats, feel free to invest more in like defense. It's completely optional on however you choose to decide on how you want to run it. All right, moving on to the next build. I don't want to really say it's a build, but you could definitely incorporate Taunt into some of the other builds. Of course, if it's not choice locked, if you're gonna run like Expert Belt or Life Orb, you can definitely have Taunt in the build. But we have like this Pokemon is pretty much so you can come in on a water type attack, as we are gonna get a special attack boost. This is more of like the fun side of using items, or how you just want to utilize Hisuian Electrode. So we're not going to be the greatest, especially offensive as you may say, like other Pokemon. I don't think like offensively, I don't think it's a bad Pokemon, but there's better Pokemon that are offensively like way better than Electrode. But yeah, this Pokemon is pretty much just to come in on water type attacks. You get the Absorb Bulb to activate with a water type attack. You get a special attack boost, and now you're just going to be doing more damage. If there's a Pokemon that has like Swords Dance up, you can go for the Foul Play. Foul Play uses target's attack stat in damage calculation, so that's fun. Let's say Scizor is like, or any physical Pokemon is at +4, but it's not faster than you. You go for the Foul Play, you're going to be doing chunks damage or just knocking things out. So we have Thunderbolt, we have Leaf Storm. Taunt is there to, prevent hazards first turn. So this Pokemon can definitely be a lead. Of course, at that point, you probably don't want to run Absorb Bulb, or you may want to run something else, depending on the situation, of course. So you can Taunt, Volt Switch out into a better Pokemon that can handle this tanky hazard or status Pokemon in front of you. You're more than welcome to. I guess now we just talk about some of the things that Electrode can do that can be very creative and can just be very supportive to the team. So we talked about Foul Play, but this also gets Electro Ball. So Electrode in general is really fast. More power, the faster the user is in the target. Terra Electric with Electro Ball, it's going to be doing some nice damage. We have Thunder. Thunder is also another alternative, especially if you're going to be using it in the rain. So you could definitely have Electrode under rain or a rain team. 30% chance to paralyze, can't miss in rain, and you're just going to be doing more damage rather than, you know, Thunderbolt, of course. Explosion is scary when it comes to Electrode. You can Terra Normal the Electrode and just, you know, do this kind of stuff. You're gonna be pretty fast. You're gonna be really fast, actually. Jolly or Adamant, it's completely optional. Where's the Terra Normal? So Terra Normal, Explosion. If you're gonna be one of those Pokemon, like you can set up Reflect, or I'm pretty sure it gets Thunder Wave, right? So if you want to cripple a Pokemon on the opposing team, you know, you go for the Thunder Wave, then you can set up Reflect, and then you can Terra Normal. You don't have to Terra Normal, but you can, you know, just go for the Explosion, or if you want bigger damage or the Pokemon's going to be threatening, Terra Normal, Explosion, huge damage. So, you know, that's definitely an option. Feel free to incorporate any of the other moves. So we talked about, you know, Leech Seed. You can have Leech Seed set with Thunder Wave and maybe something, maybe like Thunderbolt. Just to be, you know, on the creative side of things. You can always run something like that. What is this? Okay. You know, you could always run something like this, or yeah, you just gotta get creative with it. I wouldn't probably run like Giga Drain or something. At that point, I'd probably just, you know, Leech Seed and just start chipping things down. So Leech Seed could definitely be worked around in the variety of sets, especially if it's gonna be a Pokemon that's gonna be very tanky and you don't have anything for that Pokemon, but you know you're gonna be able to pick it up. You're gonna pick up a knockout at a certain HP. So Leech Seed could be pretty much just draining things and just putting pressure on the opponent. We're not using this Pokemon physically, so don't even bother. You can run Charge. Charge is, it's all right. Charge Beam, I wouldn't rely too much on the accuracy, especially it's only 70% chance to raise the user special attack by 1. And it's only got 50 base power. I would probably use this Pokemon to set up like terrain. It gets both electric terrain and grassy terrain. So that's fun to activate, you know, seeds, or just to minimize the ground type attacks, or you're gonna boost a Pokemon in your party for electric or, you know, grass and whatnot. It could be really fun for like mono type battles. Let's see, it's got Endure, that could be fun. There's something else that I saw in here that I got. Let's see. It's got Screech. It could be some support shenanigans. Solar Beam, if you want to run Solar Beam under the sun, or Power Herb, completely optional. You don't want to have Stun Spore rather than Thunder Wave. Please don't add Stun Spore. Let's see. It gets Recycle. I'm trying to think of something with Recycle now. Wow, this could be actually very interesting. So I'm thinking, with the build that we had here, where is it? This annoying build. I'm trying to think of which move we would actually get rid of. Could you imagine adding a berry to this thing and just using Recycle spam? That is actually very annoying. It might work. Let's say, for example, we got rid of Substitute. And you gave it like, I can't think of the berries that like boost specials, that special attack or anything like that. Can I find if I just type in berry? Okay. So let's see. Holder gains focus energy. Like, you could just be spamming recycle, maybe behind substitute. I think at that point, that's actually really annoying. I'm trying to think of one of the I mean, you could recycle a berry that boosts special defense. If you're gonna be going, let's say you do this, you could probably boost like a defense berry. That'd be cool. Yeah, I can't seem to. I don't. Are those berries even out? I know the half berries are. Huh. I could have sworn we had berries that do that. What was it, lychee berry? Okay, so we do. So raises holders attack by 1. I mean, you probably want like special attack at that point, since Electrode is specially offensive. But you know what I'm talking about. Oh, here we go. Raises holders defense by 1 stage. I don't know if it'll work, but I think it'll be something very cool and unique. I think at that point you probably run like Electro Ball. Electro Ball and oh, I already forgot the berry speed. Let's see if I could find it. It's not. No, it's not Wiki Berry. Special attack. So there's the special attack. So that would be cool. Yeah, I forgot the name of the berry, but you know what I'm talking about. So, you know, you recycle spam, berry, Electro Ball, something crazy, other. But that's going to be Hisuian Electrode. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys have any suggestions of any builds that you might have came up with the Electrode, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.